How did you feel when I moved into my student halls? Were you happy with the accommodation?
Personally, I hated leaving you. Millie's the youngest of 4 children, and leaving any of my children at university was always difficult. However, having been to visit the university and having looked at, I think, 4 different accommodation blocks, we were delighted with the halls that Millie had chosen and felt that they were well kept. They were spacious. Millie had her own bathroom. We didn't feel that the halls were crowded, whereas some universities had an awful lot of students sharing the same halls. The kitchens within the halls were very spacious. Lots of storage room, all the things that you would want to know your child would be settled with was offered at Warwick. So yeah, a hard day, obviously, leaving her, as I'm sure every parent would agree. But we did have that element of feeling slightly more comfortable knowing that she was safe. It was security locked at night. There were people on site that she could call for help if she needed it. So yeah, we felt to a degree comfortable that we were leaving her. How did you feel, Millie?
When applying for my accommodation, I had to apply for quite a few, both ensuite and non-ensuite, and I luckily got my first choice, which was Arthur Vic. And I really enjoyed my halls in first year. I thought they were really good. I was in halls with 11 other people, but the kitchens were really big and spacious. I had my own ensuite, and my block had just been renovated that year, so it was really nice and clean. And I loved living there. I even miss it now. So,
how did you feel when I moved into my student halls? Were you happy with the accommodation I was allocated / chose?
Yes, because we did actually look through the accommodation online before we actually applied for it.
Yep.
And you did get your first choice, so that was good. I don't actually think we looked at that accommodation when we went round, but it was just per as the website, and we looked and everything was as so. It was clean, and that was the main thing. It was clean. Yeah.
Did the job. It was kind of mid-ish sort of range. It was Tossal. So it wasn't ensuite, it was shared bathrooms, but it was kind of, cheap enough that it was kind of in budget and kind of, did the job really.
Yeah, it did the job. And my advice would be, on the day you drop your daughter or son off, is don't hover, because it's heartbreaking. Just leave them to it, let them go, make friends, and that's the best thing to do. Just let them all join in together, and then, they're all one team. How did you feel when you first moved into the student hall?
So I was a bit nervous at first, not really sure who I was going to meet, whether I was going to kind of get on with my flatmates. But kind of straight away, as soon as I walked in, I met people. And the first person I actually met from my accommodation actually turned out, and still is, one of my best friends. So I saw him literally as soon as I walked in. We got chatting straight away. We lived together in second year. We still talk now. As I still with a number of my first flatmates from first year. I still get along with and talk to a lot. So kind of all those worries from moving in went away straight away as soon as I got to chat to them.
So it's a big day for you, me being an only child, moving to university. When I first moved in, how did you feel? What did you think?
I was really excited for your university journey, for you, but obviously it was a little bit sad for me leaving you. I must admit, when I left, it pulls at the heartstrings.
Yeah.
100%, because it's an end of an era, and you're sort of leaving your children there, and they're not coming home. So yeah, I think, but other than that, I was really excited for you to be going to university, and as I said, having the uni experience.
Yeah.
So,
but I think when we moved in, I wasn't expecting, we'd seen the accommodation.
Yes.
But I wasn't expecting it to be like that nice. Do you know what I mean?
It was actually very, very nice. The
Yeah.
accommodation, much nicer, I think, than we thought.
Yeah, so
It was
I
gonna
was
be.
in Sherborne, so I was in Sherborne 5, which is one of the blocks. And when we moved in and I got my key and stuff, like I think it was all just very exciting for
Yes,
starters.
it
But
was.
when we first pulled up to the accommodation, we hadn't been inside that one. We hadn't been inside Sherborne,
No.
so we'd seen the photos, but we didn't really know what to expect. And yeah, it was really nice. Like the kitchen was great. The rooms were really nice and clean and like modern. And
Yeah, they were just really nice rooms. So
yeah, and definitely
have a look at Sherborne. 'Cause it's
Sherborne
still very
specifically,
nice.
I'd recommend it,
Yeah,
but it's probably
absolutely.
me being biased. But yeah, I think me living there, like me having that experience of living in like that accommodation and Warwick in general as a place to live, I like couldn't find any faults. Like
No.
I never found anything that
No,
was wrong with
I
it.
think we both felt like it was a bit like home away from home. Actually.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think you felt that too.
Yeah,
for me.
that's what I'm saying. Both of us felt like that for
Yeah.
sure.
How did you feel when I moved into my student halls?
Well, inevitably a bit apprehensive, sort of hoping you were going to meet people and sort of get on. I mean, it all seemed very welcoming, and it was all very nice, clean, and sort of the facilities were good. Kitchen was sort of quite big. You had plenty of space and
Yeah, you were quite impressed.
sort of cupboard space, fridge and freezer, and there were enough sort of cookers space. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good space for you.
Were you happy with the accommodation that I was allocated?
Yes, I mean, I know it wasn't your first choice. You didn't get the ensuite accommodation, but actually, I think sort of you felt you were very happy there, and I think whatever you'd got,
Yeah,
it's more about as long as it's all the facilities are good, and it's as much about the people you're with and just feeling safe and secure and settled. So yeah, no, I thought you did well. How did you feel when you moved into your student halls?
I was very nervous when I moved in because obviously these were the first people that I was going to meet, and it was kind of like, oh, what if I don't like them? What if they're not my people or something like that? But yeah, it wasn't my first choice, so I was a bit like I didn't really know what to expect because it was my last choice actually. But I lived in Tossell in first year, and I actually really enjoyed it. I'm so glad I got it, and I think whatever you get, you love it.
Yeah, I think-
because
Well, and I quite like the fact that we went in and straight away you could see there were 5 or 6 other flats.
yeah,
Sort of pretty close. You had another flat across the corridor. So yes, even if you've got a big pool of people and that you're going to find people you get on with, your soulmates, and yeah, you did. So
yeah, and I
good.
think I didn't actually click that much with my flat. They were nice, but they weren't really my people. But actually, we went out as a whole block, and I met lots of people through that, and then course friends and things like that. So I think even if you don't immediately click with
yeah,
the
you
first
don't
group
have
of
to
people,
find your best friends.
you just have to live with them, and sometimes it's better if they're not your best friends because it makes you, not just stop there and make friends with everyone you meet.
Yeah, no, I think you did, and you forced yourself to almost to go and introduce yourself to people when you perhaps were feeling a bit shy, but people were there, right? It was easy to bump into people, and
Yeah, and there were so many freshers events and things like that I just had to kind of go along with it, and I'd meet so many people, and by making myself do that, I would forget about whether I was homesick because
and then before you knew it, you had lots of different friends in different from your course and from where your accommodation was, and yeah.
yeah, definitely.